Hello BookTube. I thought the next video that I would do would be the reader problems tag, and I was tagged by Eleanor Macrodina. I will link her video down below. This tag was originally created by About to Read, and I will tag that video down below too. And before I even start with this video, I need to make a notable mention, and I really recommend that you take a look at Summer Dawn's take on this video. She has really managed to take a simple tag question and bring it to life. I'm getting a bath by my dog. Anyway, so let's start with the first question. 1. You have 20,000 books on your TBR. How in the world do you decide what to read next? I have 20,000 books on my TBR. Okay, so I guess the point is not that I have won the lotto, managed to buy a couple of bookshops and then like nick the stock. The point is, how do I choose my next book to read? And with this one, I go with my gut. I'm constantly fiddling with my shelves, whether it's rearranging, dusting, or just admiring the view. And I get a feeling for what I feel like reading next, be it the cover that decides, whether it's my guilty conscience that decides. It makes me look at a book and go, ew, it's been there for a long time, lass, you need to read it. But yeah, my stomach decides, because we know where all the education went. Oh, there are books as well occasionally where, you know, for like readathons or something along the line where you need to find something that matches a prompt, then that works as well. But generally, it's gut. Number 2, you're halfway through a book and you're just not loving it. Do you quit or are you committed? Well, that depends. Why am I not loving this book? Is it that it is poorly written? Is it that I disagree with the premises or the themes or the message that the writer is trying to put across? In which case, I will gladly just drop it. If I'm not enjoying it because it is a difficult read, because it's covering something important but unpleasant, I will mission through. I will also say that the price tag, depending on how much I paid for it, will determine as well whether I mission through or not. If it's a book that I got cheaply second hand, then I will probably just abandon it if it isn't something that is important to be read. So it depends. Number 3, the end of the year is coming and you're so close but so far away on your Goodreads reading challenge. Do you try to catch up, and how? You're so close but so far. Well, a bit of a contradiction there, but I know what they mean. It's never happened yet. I always like being ahead of the game right from January, so that I have usually met my Goodreads challenge by October, September, sometimes August. This year's the first year where I have been behind. I'm now one ahead, thank goodness. But we will see how things pan out. So I don't know. The honest answer is that I will only be able to tell you by the end of this year if I'm in the position I was in February or the beginning of March by December. But I have a feeling that I will just do what I did now, and that's just power through a lot of books. And the nice thing with being a teacher is that, you know, most of December's holiday, so hello, I can do a lot of reading. So I'll probably just do a lot of reading. Number 4, the covers of a series you love do not match. How do you cope? It's called suck it up. I have tons of series that don't match. Is it aesthetically pleasing? Not necessarily. But you know what, if you look at my shelves, nothing really matches, and that's the whole joy of a bookshelf. And let's face it, yes, it would be nice if they matched, but there are real issues out there. It's called, you know, land reform, ESCOM, oh good lord, how many other issues are there? There's hunger, there's starvation, there's medical concerns. My books don't match, get over it. And we're back. So the dogs decided to start buggering around and knock everything flying. So take 2, except this time we're starting on number 5. And number 5 says, everyone and their mother loves a book and you really don't like it. Who do you bond with over shared feelings? And that would be my mom. My mom and I generally have the same tastes in things. Well, some things, not necessarily books a lot, but if I'm angry over something that the writer has done, a choice that they've made, or something along those lines, then, and I need to vent. I'm not just talking about, the plot went in a direction that I'm not happy with, for whatever reason, then unfortunately it's whoever is in my vicinity gets an earful, and captive audience, it's mom usually. So yeah, shame. When I was doing my postgrad in education, one of the projects that we had to do, especially for English second language teaching, was take a look at books that we could recommend to kids to read, and look at what kids were reading. How's that for optimism? And so I read my way through the Twilight series. Man, my poor family got such an earful. My mom was threatening to throw the books away because I was ranting and raving as I was stomping up and down the passage with the darn book in my hand. Yeah, that wasn't fun times, although it was good to get it out, Number 6, you're reading a book and you're about to start crying in public. How do you deal? I don't. I can't really, I think I might have cried over A Man Called Ove by Frederick Backman, maybe. I can't remember. I might have. But I don't usually cry over books. I can't even for certain say that I cried over that book. I know I didn't cry over Dobby or Hedwig or anybody else that was bumped off in Deathly Hallows. So I generally just don't. It's a story, I acknowledge that, and I suppose when you're reading for more than just the plot, I know I talk more plot and character, etc., but I work with literature. I don't want to make this work, so I keep it a bit simpler, but my mind still does all the analytical stuff underneath, and when you're doing that, it's hard to get that lost in a story, although who knows. Maybe one day. Actually, there was a book I cried over, The Fault in Our Stars, but I wasn't really crying over the book. I was crying over my dad. Delayed reaction. It's just, I think as I get older, perhaps real life feelings could be triggered by stuff that I read, which might make it more likely that I will end up having a good cry over books. And now we got the cat going to try and knock everything over. Okay, number 7. A sequel of a book you loved just came out, but you've forgotten a lot of the prior novel. Will you reread the book, skip the sequel, try to find a synopsis on Goodreads, or cry in frustration? This is a real reader problem, because I'm going to be facing that, this exact problem when Brent Weeks comes out with the finale in the whatever that series is called. I'll put it down here. And I know the rough storyline, but I can't remember the characters' names. I mean, it's been 3 years since I read it last. So I'm going to have to decide, do I reread book 1, 2, and 3? I mean, considering their chunkers each. Or do I just hope that I'm going to be able to pick it up as I go along? I don't know. I know with Ursula Le Guin, I read the synopsis of The Wizard of Earthsea online. I just found a synopsis and read that, and that was fine. It rang enough bells, but with something as involved with Brett Weeks, or like with Brandon Sanderson with the Stormlight Archive series, I'm not 100% sure whether that would be a good idea. I'm starting to wonder if I should just buy the books as they come out, or wait until they get a bit cheaper and then buy them and then read the whole series when it's done, because that might just save a lot of rereading. I don't like rereading when I've got so many books that I need to read for the first time. Anyway, carrying on. Number 8. You do not want anyone borrowing your books. How do you politely tell people nope when they ask? Oh, I'm so bad at this. And I'm meaning I'm really bad at this. I tell people that I don't have anything that they would be interested in. There are about 2,000 books in this room. I'm pretty sure anyone could find. But I'd always say I don't have anything that would be up your arm. Nah, I can't think of something you'd like. Nah. I really need to find a better reason, because saying just no, I can't do either. Especially when it's people who've lent me books. Wow, then is it difficult. Reading ADD, this is number 9. You've picked up and put down 5 books in the last month. How do you get over your reading slump? I don't know, I've never done that before. I can tell when I'm not enjoying a book and that I should consider DNFing it if I'm starting to think of doing other things like let's do dishes as opposed to reading. Then I know that I shouldn't be reading that book. But as a rule, yeah, I've never experienced that. There's always something that can be found, unless it's a really bad book, you know, in which case, you know, doorstop, good purpose. But yeah, something, it's never happened to me. I don't know. Number 10, there are so many new books coming out that you're dying to read. How many do you actually buy? None. Unless. If CJ Sanson decides to write book 8, I will probably buy it immediately and read it the same day. But I mean, the only other books that I've bought on the release day has been Harry Potter, and that was because if you didn't need to read the book because of all the spoilers that would have just come around. So with Harry, I enjoyed all of that. I mean, it was half the fun of going to the book release, wasn't it? And because I mean, I did one in Cape Town at Century City, I did one in South Korea at Gwangdong-mun at Kyobo Bookstore, and then I did one in Charing Cross Road in England. So, you know, that was half the fun of it. But I mean, CJ Sanson I probably do buy immediately, but the majority of the books, I've got so many books that I still need to read. In fact, after my latest shopping splurge, I've got a TBR again of 150 on the dot. So I need to read that down, and there's no need for me to run out and get a book when it's twice the price. Whereas if I wait a year or two, by then I would have actually had time to get to it. It's much more reasonable. I can buy 2 books for the price that I would have been able to buy that one, and I can, yeah, read it that way. Plus, by then, the hype would have died down. The one thing that I like, actually, with being a delayed reader or a backlist reader is the fact that, you know, when books come out and you have all the hype about them and everything sounds so marvelous, and you pick it up and you read it, and I think it's because our expectations are up here. When somebody says something is fantastic, you really expect so much, and then you read this book and it doesn't match. Whereas if because I wait, I hear the hype, and then I hear the disappointed comments that come in afterwards. You can't see my other hand, that's down here. And so when I get to actually reading them, it's a lot easier to not be influenced by all of that, because it's kind of balanced itself out. It's now just an average book, and I can make of it what I wish. I'm not going in with great expectations. So yeah. And then it says, after you've bought the new books you can't wait to get to, how long do they sit on your shelves before you get to them? Well, if it were the new CJ Sanson, I would get to it the day that I bought it. My mom and I would sit down and we would crack open the book. Actually, we wouldn't crack open anything. We would gently open the cover so that nothing cracks, and then we will proceed to read out loud. But that would probably be the only one. I mean, I said I did it with Harry, but with everything else, I buy it and I put it on my shelves until my stomach, refer back to question 1, says that it's time to read it. Yeah, it's not a science. It's not a science. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tag some booktubers, and the first one I'm going to tag is a bibliophile's journey, because yeah, a journey through books, a bibliophile's journey, you know, what's there not to like? And then I've got some more newbies, which I am enjoying. So there's first Stina in the Stacks, and I've seen another video of hers. She's got a new channel. I think she's only got 4 or 5 videos out, and I really think that she's going to be an interesting booktuber. Caffeinated Bookworm, 1 brilliant name, 2 South African, 3 new booktuber. Turn the Page. This lady has been doing a lot of vintage books, and these have been trips down memory lane, from doing Calvin and Hobbes through to some of the turn the page books. It was something that came with an audio, and when the buzzer rang or the bell rang, then you had to turn the page because then you were following with the story. And that rang bells. I can't remember. I know I must have had one, or at least one. And then she spoke about things like the rescuers, etc. And that was such a trip down memory lane. I can remember, what was her name? Penny or something. The little orphan girl was kidnapped. She had the teddy bear, but I remember the gap between her teeth, and then the one of the rescuers who had the frizzy tail. And it was just like ping, it came back just hearing her talk about this. And then the last one I'd like to tag is Rainy Day Reads. She's also a fairly new booktuber, and yeah, I mean, I remember what it was like being a new booktuber and struggling like crazy to have anybody find my channel, and you know, to have anybody interested enough to actually watch a video, let alone like it. I mean, one like was, hooray, let's bring out, we'll crack open the champagne. So I'm trying my best to support some new booktubers as well. Anyway, that is my tag. I now have to go and edit out Crazy Dog Business, and hopefully the cat washing did not shake everything up too much. And I'm going to probably leave it there for tonight with filming videos, because filming and editing and uploading takes time, but I'll see if maybe I can film some more videos tomorrow. I know that I have written down, I know I've still owed Sean a tag, I owe Alan a tag. I know I owe those two, so tomorrow I will try and film those. Although I'm not promising anything, because as soon as I do, then life happens. So we're not promising, but I will try. And anyway, thank you so much for listening to me waffle on. Bye for now.